All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, neither CJ Stroud or Bryce Young will be playing for the national championship on Monday night, but each youngster ended their respective college football careers with a bang. Now, this past Saturday in the Sugar Bowl, Bryce Young was 15 of 21 passing for 321 yards with 5 touchdown throws as he helped Alabama mop the floor with the Kansas State Wildcats. CJ Stroud made his presence known in the Peach Bowl as well as he was 23 of 34 passing for 348 with 4 TDs as Ohio State would lose a heartbreaker to Georgia. And just as the collegiate careers of Young and Stroud did not end in the fashion that they were hoping for as being national champions, the future is very bright for both of these young men. I say that because the NFL draft is a little bit less than 4 months away, and Young and Stroud each are not going to have to wait that long to hear their names called by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, as there's a very good possibility. And honestly, more than likely, I think both of them are going to be gone by the fifth pick. There are plenty of teams that are currently in the top 10 that are definitely in need of a quarterback. The Houston Texans are probably going to be the have the first overall pick. And with that said, they're going to get a new general manager more than likely, new head coach more than likely. And usually you want to start over at the most important position on the field, which is quarterback. You look at the Seattle Seahawks, they get that third overall pick as of right now due to the Russell Wilson trade. And I mean, Geno Smith has been having a solid year for Seattle, but is he going to be the long term answer for the Seahawks? Would they want to go a quarterback? You got to wait and see. You got the Indianapolis Colts at number 5 as of right now, and the Colts definitely need a new quarterback, but also is it a scenario where they're probably going to get a new head coach as well? You look at the Atlanta Falcons at number 7. I mean, are they ready to give up on Desmond Ritter after 1 year? We got to wait and see. The writing is on the wall that the Las Vegas Raiders could be starting over at quarterback, whether that's a veteran or a rookie. And currently, they would be the 8th pick. The Carolina Panthers at number 9, another interesting story as well. As far as teams that could potentially be looking to draft quarterbacks here in round number 1. There's also a strong possibility that we could see Young and Stroud playing in the same division because I see both the Texans and Colts taking quarterbacks in this draft, more than likely going to be in round 1. And if that's the case, obviously both Houston and Indianapolis are in the AFC South. Now, we're going to have nearly 4 months to break down the intangibles of these young men and what they bring to the table for their teams. And obviously, Stroud is the bigger quarterback at 6'3", 218. Young, he's listed at 6 feet, buck 94, probably a buck 94 with his equipment on, and he might be 6 feet in his cleats. I don't know. We got to see. But nonetheless, you look at the way that Bryce Young plays, and he plays quarterback like a point guard. He is a playmaker out there. He's elusive to the point that you know what he can scramble when he has to, but more than likely he's trying to keep the play open in order to give some of his playmakers at running back and wide receiver an opportunity to get open. CJ Stroud, he has elusiveness as well, a very solid and accurate arm. And it's going to be interesting to see where both of these young men end up. And of course, being that Bryce Young is a smaller quarterback, the question is going to be, does he have the frame to maintain or withstand what's coming in the NFL? And I say that because wherever Young and Stroud are selected, the talent level at the skill positions on offense are not going to be like what they're accustomed to, collegiately. You think about Alabama in recent years and the litany of receivers that they have sent to the NFL. And just last year alone, CJ Stroud, is throwing a lot to Garrett Olave, um, Jackson Smith and Jangba, who was hurt for, Chris Olave, I'm sorry, and Garrett Wilson, I'm sorry, please got my names mixed up. Please forgive me for that. but he was throwing a lot to them. And then of course Jackson Smith and Jingma. Smith and Jingma didn't play a lot this year due to injury. But then you look at Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka, who are going to be high picks when their time comes. And then for CJ Stroud, you think about what he did in 2021 as Alabama starting quarterback for the most of the year, throwing to John Mechie and Jamison Williams. So more than likely, you're not going to get that talent wherever you go in the NFL at first. So that's going to be a wake up call right there. But I think it's going to be one of those things long term in the case of Young and Stroud. It's going to be, for me at least, just like it is with any of these young quarterbacks. It's all about the system and it's all about the foundation that is going to be put around these youngsters. And of course, some people may agree with me with what I'm about to say. Some people may not, and that's fine. I am of the belief that, you know what, there's nothing wrong with sitting your rookie quarterback down for at least 8 games and allowing him to get a feel of the game instead of throwing him out there to the wolves, especially if you have a scenario where that young man is playing on a bad team, because it could ruin him. So whoever takes Stroud or Young, I think they would be better served, getting themselves a veteran quarterback to show, not only to play the first few games, but also show that young man the ropes, show him the ins and outs as far as what it takes to succeed in the NFL as a starting quarterback, and all about the preparation mentally, physically, in the classroom, you name it. And I know that they got a lot of that collegiately at Ohio State and Alabama, respectively, but nonetheless, it's still always a little bit better to hear it from one of your peers. And I think that is going to be very important. I think both CJ Stroud and Bryce Young can have success in the National Football League. It just comes down to the system and it comes down to the organization around them, because too often do we see early picks in the NFL get ruined, not because they cannot play, it's just due to the fact that they went to the wrong organization. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. Again, I don't see either one of these quarterbacks lasting past the fifth pick, and I really think that there are going to be some teams looking to trade up in the draft, because when you look at it, you have the Chicago Bears currently with the second overall pick. The Bears more than likely going to be locked in at number 2. They're obviously not taking a quarterback because they have Justin Fields. And if you're one of these other teams, you want to make sure that you get your guy, because Houston's taking a quarterback. So it's just a matter of who they're not taking. You want to try to be locked into that position, maybe jump ahead of Seattle at number 3 if they're looking for a quarterback, or maybe Seattle knows that some of these teams are willing to move up. Maybe they could trade back. There's a lot that we can look forward to between now and the draft. Arizona is another team right there at number 4. Obviously, they don't need a quarterback. They just paid Kyler Murray a king's ransom. He's on the mend after having ACL surgery. So he's going to be the quarterback in the desert for a very long time. Arizona doesn't need a quarterback. Maybe somebody would want to move into that slot. Indy definitely needs a quarterback. So we got to wait and see what happens there. And then, of course, who's going to be desperate enough to move up. But nonetheless, I think we are going to hear plenty of comparisons and plenty of stories between now and the NFL draft in regards to both CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. Both of these young men can play. I know there's going to be skeptics out there talking about Bryce Young's size, but the bottom line is the kid can ball. And the same thing for CJ Stroud. Obviously, he's the bigger quarterback. He can get it done. Just put these kids in the right position, and I think they will have success at the next level. It's just a matter of let's wait and see. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.